Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
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 Good day again, viewers. Welcome to the program, Agriculture on the Move. My name is Philip Sidney, your host. Climate change, its effect on our food and nutrition security. Climate change is real, so we need to adopt, adapt, and mitigate. Today, our discussion surrounds Caribbean Climate Resilience Agriculture Forum. With me to enhance that discussion are my three guests in studio. I will allow them to introduce themselves. I will start with my gentleman to my right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sidney, and thank you for having us. My name is Brent Theophil. I am the National Specialist with the ICA delegation here in St. Lucia.
And give us a little background about yourself.
So my background is in agribusiness and agri-enterprise development. For me, the end goal of any intervention in agriculture is to see that our farmers thrive, do well at the business of agriculture, and have access to markets where their products are valued. So tying in the conversation on the issue related to climate resilience is a matter of showing our farmers how they can mitigate against the negative impacts that they're facing, the very real impacts to their farms and livelihoods that they are facing, showing them how they can cost effectively treat with those and get their products out onto the market.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Sidney, for having us. My name is Nikelia Gregor-Karai. I'm a technical specialist in soil and water management with IICA. I am also the coordinator of the CCRAF, for short, CCRAF, CCRAF, and I am from Dominica. A bit of background in agriculture at the University of West Indies in Trinidad. I also did a master's in water resource management in New Zealand. And so, trying to marry in the two. As you know, within the region, without soil, without water, we have no food. And so my background is within that area and in the work that we do. So I am under one of ICA's, apart from the offices, the national offices that you see in the various countries like St. Lucia, we also have 7 hemispheric program. And myself and Dr. St. Martin, we work with the Resilient Agriculture Program, and we support all of the offices within the hemisphere, including the Caribbean and Latin America. And so we work very closely in terms of climate issues that the farmers face, soil and water management challenges, and so those are some of the key areas that we support the farmers and persons interested in agriculture.
Great.
Right, thank you very much, and thank you for having us. My name is Chani St. Martin. I'm from St. Lucia. I really lead with my colleagues the ECA's program on resilient agriculture. I have been away for some time. We work in about 35 countries, so it's always a pleasure to come here, especially around June Creole time. I'm looking to get that.
Home.
Yes, that's right. So I'm looking to get some of that in. But we are passionate about change and everything agriculture, simply put. We are passionate about translating the knowledge and the talk into action, and we are very responsible about the contribution that we want to make, and we are also passionate about partnership. So I'll leave it there for now. We can talk a little bit
Definitely.
more.
Right, so Brent, I'll lead out the whole scene here today. Tell us about CCRAF.
Okay, so the CCRAF, CCRAF, stands for the Caribbean Climate Resilient Agriculture Forum. And this is an initiative of ICA that was born from recognizing that there needed to be a dedicated space where practitioners, technicians, students, farmers, stakeholders in the agricultural sector could speak specifically on the issues related to how agriculture has been affected by climate change. So the entire remit of what are the key challenges, how are those challenges impacting the livelihoods of farmers and other stakeholders along the value chain. What are the innovative things that are being done to address those problems, and how can we benefit from them, share them, and enhance them? So that has evolved over time, and between Nikelia and Dr. St. Martin, they can give you a play-by-play as to the years and the progression of how that forum has changed. but today it represents an incredible opportunity for learning, for sharing on really incredible initiatives that are happening across the Caribbean region. And the beauty of it is that we can show our partners and stakeholders that the very same challenges that they're scratching their heads on in St. Lucia and other countries, here, guess what? Someone is working on it, someone knows something that can be done to solve that problem. So it's a great avenue for connecting, learning, and taking learning into action.
So Nikhil, tell us about the origin in terms of the time frame. When did that project start off?
So the CCRAF, as we celebrate in 10 years, that started off, yes, it's 10 years, celebrating a great milestone, 10 years this year. And so, of course, this idea emanated from my colleague and some of the other staff at ICA in 2015, of course, identifying the gap that there needs to be a bit more knowledge sharing as it relates to agriculture. And so the forum was developed. It started off in each of the individual countries, meeting face to face, discussing among themselves. And so once I took over and along Chani in 2021, I started with ICA in 2021. We evolved it a little bit further, and during that time was COVID, and so that brought us online. And in that way, that allowed us now to bring the region together rather than they still individual in their country. So what we started off with were the webinars. So we had the webinars and we had all of the ICA member states, be part of that and that knowledge sharing. And so we brought in technical and practical persons to share some technologies, innovation, practices, strategies that are working for them that would be beneficial for persons within their countries and across the region. And so then that further evolved into seeing that not just through ICA's side, things need to be shared, but we have partners, we have stakeholders, that are doing a lot of good work out there. And so we created what we call the special edition. So we work alongside them and they come on board and they present those things. And so these are some of the areas. And for the 10th year, of course, now the knowledge sharing has improved, but we realize there is still a disconnect with implementing the things that needs to be done to actually address the issue. It's one thing to talk about it, but now we need to address it. And so that's why we're here today with the CCRAF on the road. So we've done Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, we're here in St. Lucia, and upcoming we have St. Vincent, Dominica and Antigua. So we're trying to push as much as we can before the year end. Yes.
So what is CCRAF on the road? Tell us what's happening. What's the formula?
Yeah, before we go to that, I want to address an issue with the agriculture. It's a very important issue, and you mentioned it as well. The issue of space, the issue of agriculture being in all of these spaces that are relevant for agriculture to grow, for action to take place. That's number one. So before we talk about on the road, what we recognize is that there were critical discussions and opportunities that were there. One of the issues would be actually financing the sector. And so let's take, for example, we have the climate funds, a lot of climate funds there, but where was agriculture at the table there in terms of prioritizing that? The reality is that when we're having these climate impacts, agriculture, because of the very nature of it, is also impacted by it and could also contribute to lessen the impact. But if you're not at the table, you're at the menu, right? So agriculture needed to be there. So one of the key focus for us is to create that space, whether virtual or in practice, to actually say we are here, we are not going anywhere, we are going to take up our mantle and do our work. What that means is that if we are now embedded into the national mechanism for financing, we are there on the board, then agriculture and the farmers have a voice to actually get these opportunities. So another space, the CCRAF on the road was simply a space. Simple message. Farmers and all of the stakeholder voice, they are important. We are willing to work as a community. We are willing to take the action. We fundamentally know that these are our needs and we are going to address it. And we are not intimidated by the challenge. Number one. CCRAF on the road says, if we have a space to share and speak online, we need to have a space to act together as well. And so therefore, we are serious about that, from the talking to the action. So CCRAF is a network now, and I want to shout out all of the persons, both the participants and those that have given up their time to actually share. Our partners, WUSC, we have a number of partners there that would have supported us to make this thing happen. we talk, we come to the ground, and we assist. So this is what CCRAF on the road is about. It is about let's partner together, let's change the talk into the action, and let's see things moving together collectively in a comfortable space, in a community space.
Okay. So what's up? So it's a week of activities, right?
Yes.
So take us through that.
So we have started off quite nicely. So unfortunately Monday I missed out because, you know, Express and all of that. But again, we have the virtual space. So we had a little mini lunch, and, you know, we had our partners with us. We had the Ministry of Agriculture, the TVET, and various persons present. You know, Brent and Chani and the ICA staff was there. So we had a lovely mini lunch. And after that, we had a little tour of the facility, hydroponic facility of the Ministry of Agriculture, providing some technical support. This is one of the key things in ICA, that we do provide the technical support there and the guidance. And so yesterday, we would have some entertaining training. We were at Sir Arthur Lewis, where we did, we tried to engage them to get and encourage them in terms of the other areas of agriculture. It's not just going out on the farm, but other opportunities within the innovative and technology space. So they got a hands-on training with the drone, where they flew the drone themselves. Some of them all of them were for the first time. We delved a bit into watershed, water management, you know, some of the climate challenges, how do you, and especially as well soil management, nutrient management. And then we moved on to the TVET school in Babuno. Dennery, sorry, it was in Dennery. And with them, the students were doing some experiments, and we went through the pots. They were quite excited of what they were planting, but you could see clearly they had some challenges, which, you know, is us as adults is frustrating, much less for students. And so we went through with them, helped them, challenged them to question and, you know, identify what they think the challenge might be, then what they may need to do. So identifying some of the soil challenges, some of the nutrient deficiencies. So we went through that yesterday, and today was even more exciting. We went to the primary school right across by Camille Henry Memorial.
Right.
So we had the seedling story, and was so excited. The young children came out, made these lovely skits, these poems, and it was so exciting, you know, bringing the life from a seed to a plant, harvesting the fruits to, you know, get that nutrient for your body. And so tomorrow we will be having an on-farm training on pest and disease management, and also soil and water and nutrient management. And then on Friday we'll be dedicated to some additional partner meetings. So it's quite a nice mixture of things there, and looking at trying to engage a lot the youth in there.
Okay. So CCRAF is being taken around the Caribbean?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you're, before I came to St. Lucia, where were you all?
We have been to Jamaica. We were in St. Kitts during Caribbean Week of Agriculture. So we're here now. And then after that, we'll be heading to St. Vincent the first week of November, followed by Dominica, and then to close off the year with Antigua and Barbuda.
What's the feedback on ground, I mean, with this program?
Yeah, I could start. I could tell you the feedback, and I'll be a little selfish here. And this yeah, the feedback is the youth are tremendous to work with. We saw it in St. Kitts during CWA, where we just dedicated a space for the youth to come in and speak about agriculture, unscripted. Right? They moderated everything. And it's always nice to get that from the youth, the critical thinking, and also the issue about the passion. So the youth that's my feedback. I'm starting off with my feedback. My feedback is that it's always inspiring. That fire is always there to head from the youth. The youth are always excited. So it's quite easy to be dismissive about that tale that youth are not interested in agriculture. Yes. It's the way that you package it, that is the way that you bring it forward. Somewhere there, during this small time, they are interested, but somewhere along the line is where we lose them. And we really must try to do something to keep that. And so that's my feedback. I am very, very, very satisfied that if we, and I'm talking about all of us that deal in the space, continue with the youth there and enable them to continue with that passion and not kill it somewhere about there, I don't think we have a big problem with the food and nutrition coming forward.
Exactly.
But on the ground, to go directly to you, the feedback has been great. The feedback has been more than what we expected in terms of people appreciating the thinking behind it and the motive, the intention. Having us there, they've been very welcoming. The farmers have opened up the field for us. The partners have come together with us. Other development partners, the school have been opening. They say that, hey, the problem for us right now is we need more time. They tell us that, oh, you're there too short. We need you to come back. We need you. So we are now trying to work out, and that's why we are opening it. It has always been open. But if there are partners, any partners there, the beautiful thing about the CCRAF is that you could be a partner whether you're an institution or an individual person. It does not limit it. So we really want to shout out the Ministry of Agriculture has been an excellent partner so far. We really want to open it up for other partners. We just had a meeting with Helen Daughters as well. What they're doing is great. They're on board as well. So we're calling out so that we could expand it and ready to keep that passion of the youth for agriculture so we do not kill that somewhere along the line.
So in terms of the moving forward, the plan, in terms of monitoring and evaluation, where does that come in? Moving forward.
Okay, so but if I address that one, just with regards to the feedback on the ground, I think one key observation that we have had in the engagements with CCRAF and this week so far is seeing that light go on in people's eyes. Because I mean, we all wrestle with different problems, different challenges, and the only thing better than knowing what to do is how to do it, right? So helping persons to realize that there are ways that they can navigate those problems, so that they don't feel as intimidated by the potential problems or challenges that are presented is a great thing. And to the point that Dr. St. Martin made, I think in encouraging youth to participate, is that message is extremely important, that there are ways to solve the problems that we see persons generally face or traditionally face. There are ways to work around them, ways to just circumvent them entirely. And that might be a matter of the approach, the types of inputs or techniques applied, but also where you go to invest your time and effort to participate in agriculture. There are meaningful areas for youth to contribute to agricultural development that does not necessarily need to send them to a farm. There are other important areas that can be that they can work to contribute to the development of the sector. And even on the farm, there are innovations at that level that are needed, and we want young persons and other persons outside of agriculture likewise to contribute to that conversation. So the CCRAF as a forum does not discriminate. You don't need an agricultural degree to participate in that forum and to make meaningful contributions. I think that's an important one to highlight as well. With regards to monitoring and evaluation, what we try to do is to track the metrics of participation and to also through the CCRAF website at the delegation in St. Lucia, persons are welcome to reach out to us and we can work towards addressing issues, opportunities that partners see and making meaningful interventions that way.
Okay, because when they are gone, okay, you're the one here.
Correct.
Okay, correct. So in terms of what they did, in terms of continuity, that's my concern. Okay,
so in terms of continuity, we make the resources available. We use those resources in our own capacity program for the country. So Chani and Nekelia, I probably hadn't sent that expressly to them before, but we do use content from the CCRAF, from what partners share to incorporate into the work that we do. We take feedback from the national participants on the CCRAF when there are issues that were raised that partners say, hey, I think that this is extremely important. I think this will be useful to our farmers. We go back and we incorporate it into the way we do our work in St. Lucia. So that does happen. Okay. And beyond that initial point, also in terms of knowledge products that come out of the broader agriculture resilience program, we try to make those resources available and promote networking and sharing. So one of the key things about the way that ECA works is that we believe in partnerships, and we want to show that partnerships can be extremely useful to solving the real world problems that the sector faces. So we love to connect. There are things that we are good at, there are things that we know that our partners are better at. So we try to bridge that gap to solve the problem.
The problems that the various stakeholders, the farmers and the schools face, is that a commonality in the other islands also?
Yes, so it's a commonality, and I'm very careful as to how we throw around the issue of problems. Right?
Yes.
I'm very, very careful about that. I'm careful about it because quite often you get a sense of what is the problem in agriculture. and you tend to focus on agriculture. But in my years in agriculture, I don't think the issue is a problem in agriculture per se. I think the issue is agriculture becomes a byproduct of what is the value systems of the people. Meaning very simple that if we see agriculture as important, if we see that eating is as important, why are we not treating it with that kind of respect? Yes? And so the problem, a large amount of the problem is really outside of agriculture. If we had valued these simple things, then these issues that we have in agriculture, we would not have it. Okay. But so if we keep on just isolating agriculture as the place with the problem, I don't think we'll ever solve it. Okay. It is really a byproduct, and agriculture is not the only byproduct of how we see things and what we value, basic things that are important to us. So I wanted to say that clearly. The other thing I wanted to jump on something that Brent would have said. When we talk about youth, and Brent used the real term for it, when we talk about youth, we are talking about that light that we see in the person's eyes. And we have experienced that not just with the younger persons, but with seasoned professionals in that while we're doing the training, you see the light, the fire come back in their eyes. So that is the youth that we are talking. We've been perhaps metaphorical about it, but we see that light come in again. We had the experience with researchers from UE. We had that experience in number of places that we see the light coming in, that love for that. And so that is the thing that brings us satisfaction. On a very real example in terms of continuity, in terms of what you would have asked, the way that we have approached the forum, and even to date, there's not a forum that has remained in that space for climate and agriculture as yet. The way that we have approached it is with a business model, meaning that the analytics matter for us. Meaning that when we come to you for partnership, we are presenting you with that information in terms of continuity, monitoring, and evaluation, etc. More so, we are telling you that if you are able to connect to that, this is a technical service that we are providing if you want to reach that audience. We have over 700 participants that normally connect. So it's very business-minded in terms of the model that we are looking at to actually do that. So that's something that is very, very important for us. On the other end, I'll give you a quick example. We just had a conversation with Helen Daughters. On the matter of continuity, apart from being embedded in ICA's program here, ICA has an office in all of the Caribbean country. Helen Daughters is in Ag Academy, right? That is something that they're doing. This is something that is local there. They're going to be expanding it. We are not the only ones that do training. What do? We said, let's collaborate, so that that continuity could be embedded not only in ICA and also the government, but also other institutions there. And this is why, again, I'll come to the point, continuity is very important, which is why we are making the pitch. If this is something so good, partners, come. Let's be in St. Lucia next week again so we could continue.
But were there any specific problems that were highlighted based on your interactions with Helen Daughters, with the other groups, that you all, was it new to you?
A lot of them were not particularly new, but I'll focus a bit on the youth. So we would have started from the analytics of the CCRAF, and what we realized, we were not reaching the youth. You know, we're doing it during the week, 10 to 12. We were not reaching the youth. And then we did a full-blown session, panel discussion, youth moderated, and what came out of it was they needed more exposure. You know, what are the other career paths in agriculture other than going in the hot sun on the farm? So that came out very clearly, and as you can see us in St. Lucia now, it's very youth focused, getting that engagement, because then after, as Dr. St. Martin was saying, you know, we lose them somewhere along the line and we don't understand why they lose that interest. You know, and so that is one of the gaps we identified, and so that is where, in terms of the monitoring, where the CCRAF comes in from the webinars, we take all that information, analyze it, and we look at where are the gaps. We don't work on the weekends. What partners work on the weekend that we can work with to reach the youth, to reach the working people, and so this is where we use that analytics for the sustainability and the business model in terms of, you know, the funding and continuity.
Okay. Yeah. So is there, at the end of this week, I mean, is there a report that is put forward, and then so that you can go back to those persons, those groups, etc.?
So the CCRAF does in fact have a website, and it serves as a repository for all the previous sessions. Okay. So it's an opportunity there to revisit content that might have been presented, something that you might have missed when you were in the session. all the key persons, their contact information is there, so you can reach out to us directly through the website, and of course through the delegation in St. Lucia. Walk-ins are always welcome. Our doors are always welcome for persons to walk in, propose areas for collaboration or highlight issues that they think need to be addressed or that would be valuable for discussion in a forum like the CCRAF.
I wanted to come in here.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so the quick answer to it is that yes, there will be a report, but our thing is more than the report, right? As if you get the sense from it is, yes, we're going to be reporting on what we did, how the feedback, etc. More important to us is something what Brent would have spoken about. The report is something that could be internal and could be accessed.
Right.
Again, it starts off with, okay, the report is there, where do we go from here? What is the action is there? So as much as possible, we would like if it's a living report, a continuity report, where persons feed into it. It is not just only an ICA mechanism or tool or opportunity. It is where the partners could collectively, perhaps broker in together, come in and say, well, collectively, this is what we would have done, whether it's the financial institutions, other technical corporations, schools, etc. We really want that kind of monitoring system where people feed into it, either through direct initiatives like that or individual initiative that is connected to that.
Well, we have only 2 more minutes left.
Yes.
So any final words for you, sir?
Sure. Just encourage our partners, stakeholders, interested persons that love the topic of agriculture, want to know more about what is happening and what can be done. This is an excellent forum. So I want to encourage partners to look out for our communiques when put out blips on social media about the CCRAF, about other initiatives that ICA and partners are having in this space. Please come in and contribute. And I want to say that expressly also to the persons who are not directly involved in the agricultural sector. We work with persons in tech, in finance, in a number of other disciplines that can make meaningful contributions to the sector. So we encourage that conversation.
Yes. So I would like to thank you for having us to share about the CCRAF. Also special thanks to our sponsors, our catalyst sponsors, WUSC, our community allies, the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions, as well as a personal Raf Kiham that supported us to be here to bring this. And you know, it was also very lovely meeting some of the CCRAF participants that they would see my face online, and then now they're coming up to me, this is you. So thank you, and also thank you, St. Lucia, for having us. It's really great. The food is great. The ambience is excellent. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you for that. I think this show has done a great service to that voice that we speak of is also there. Yes. And I've been waiting to say agriculture, I'll move more. So thank you very much, man. Continue doing the work, man.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you for being here. I wish you success as we continue. Very good. St. Vincent, next?
Yes.
Great. I hope it's a pity you won't be here for like we all. Enjoy.
Take care, man.
You have been watching Agriculture on the Move. Thank you for viewing the program. And remember, agriculture is our business. Eat fresh. St. Lucia's best. I'm Philip Sidney saying goodbye and see you again.
Nice.
Take care, man.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.